Welcome back, folks, to the Membership Machine Show. This is episode 106. We've got a great episode here for you, folks. We've got Jason Smith with us. He's the founder of Spotlight Social Media Advertising. We're going to be talking about everything social media, including paid advertisement, but with an emphasis of trying to build some kind of strategy in this crazy world of social media. I've also got my great co-host, Nicole, with me. She's up for it. She's spicy. She's got a cats all around her. They're making mayhem, but she just takes it with ease. But it should be a great show. So, Jason, let's go with ladies first. Nico, would you quickly like to introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
Sure. I'll do a little curtsy, a verbal curtsy. So my name's Nicole Ouellette, and I have had a marketing company for 17 years, and I'm happy to co-host this show and talk about all things sort of marketing and membership building. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, you wait after a couple of months, you won't be saying that, Nicole. But there we go. And we've got our great guest, Jason. So, Jason, can you just give us a really quick intro, and then we'll give you more time when we go into the meat potatoes of the show, Jason?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for having me on, first of all. I appreciate it. So my name is Jason Smith. I'm the owner and founder of Spotlight Social Media Consulting. We are a social media only agency, so we only focus on paid ads on Meta, TikTok, Pinterest, all that good stuff. We do a little bit of Google, but our main thing is social media. So
that's fantastic. Like I say, we're like what Jason said, we're going to be discussing everything around social media, trying to build some kind of strategy in the crazy world of social media that might get you more students to your membership or community focused website. But before we go into the meat and potatoes of the show, I've got a message from one of our major sponsors. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
Hi there, e-commerce store owner. At Omnisend, we help more than 100,000 e-commerce customers just like you sell their products. We're an all-in-one email and SMS marketing platform that helps you reach your customers, grow your audience, and increase sales. In fact, our customers have seen incredible results with Omnisend, averaging $72 in revenue for every single dollar spent. And if you ever have a question, our award-winning customer support team is available 24/7 every single day. That's one of the reasons we have more than 6,000 glowing reviews and ratings all across the web. So get started with Omnisend today and start growing your business with better email and SMS marketing.
I want to point out that we've also got some great special offers from the major sponsors of the show, plus a curated list of the best WordPress plugins and services that can really help you build a fabulous membership website at the beginning of 2025. You can get all these free goodies by going over to WP-Tonic.com/deals, WP-Tonic.com/deals. What more could you ask for, my beloved membership and community builders? Probably a lot more, but that's all you're going to get on that page. I'm sorry to disappoint. I've made a career of it. Did you like that, Jason?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you looked like you were very impressed. You got very right. I would be as the same. Don't worry, Jason. It will get better, I promise. So let's go straight into it, Jason. So how did, because just give a quick bit of background for Jason. When I was doing my research on Jason, he was a police officer for a number of years in Los Angeles, and he looks very calm for somebody that did that job for a number of years. But how the hell did you get from the police into running a social media agency? Well, I say that. I think they've probably got very similarities in the madness, really.
Yeah, in the madness, yeah, I guess. It's a little different. Yeah, I don't have people shooting at me and getting in shootings and all that stuff, but clients definitely are shooting at us, right, Nicole, and giving us a hard time, but yeah.
It's been a rough couple weeks in social media, folks.
yeah, Facebook's doing some weird things right now, but Yeah, so a little bit of background on me. Gosh, how I get started. It was kind of a funny story. I was actually, I had a friend at the time who had just started a supplement company selling like proteins and vitamins and stuff like that. And he comes to me one day and says, "Hey, I heard about this Facebook ads thing, and people are making money off of it. I was wondering if maybe, you could just as a friend, support me through this, help me." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. I don't know anything. I'm just a dumb cop, right? Running around on the streets of Los Angeles." So, but I'll try. So we ended up creating some ads. This was like the early times of Facebook ads. And he started making like quite a bit of money off of Facebook ads. And I was like, man, this is pretty crazy, and then next thing you know, he's making quite a bit of revenue. He's at home, just, working from home. His business is growing. So I decided to take it upon myself to do a little bit more research on Facebook ads and how it works and all that stuff. So Googled Facebook ads, and I stumbled across this training. It was a 7-day intensive training in Austin, Texas, at the time. And that's where the Facebook headquarters of ads is, right in Austin. And one of them anyways at the time. And the whole pitch for them was like, "Hey, we're a bigger agency. If you join and come to our 7-day intensive course in Austin, we'll give you a tour of Facebook." And I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, "Oh, cool." So, but it was really expensive. It was like $15,000 for this course. And, on a policeman's salary in Los Angeles, that's, I mean, that's, I definitely did not have the money. So I ended up calling, the two founders of the agency that are doing this course. And I said, "Hey, I can't afford the course. I'm a policeman in LA, like barely getting by as it is. I don't know if you guys know, but it's very expensive in LA as well, just to live. And here I am working tons of overtime, and I was a gang cop at the time, so chasing after gang members all night when I was working. And I said, "Would you be willing to let me pay payments on this?" Right. And this was a couple weeks before the training was supposed to take place. So hung up with me, and the founders both talked and said, "You know what, let's give this guy a shot." And I had a good feeling about it. I had no clue what I was doing or getting myself into. So I actually ended up paying payments on that. I was the only one in the group that paid payments on it because I couldn't afford it. And then went to the training, walked in, and there's all these guys, these agency owners in there. "Oh, I make, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month," all these agency owners. And here I am. I don't know anything about Facebook ads. So I felt really out of place. But all I did was just went to the training every night. And by the way, I couldn't afford a hotel, so I had to stay in like this rundown Airbnb with like bunk beds. I had like 5 roommates in there. It was crazy. And ended up just applying the training every night. After each day, I would go and study. Like, they gave us the big book on how to run ads and what to do. I would study till 1 or 2 in the morning, get up, had to be there by 8. And I did that every single night. They'd all go out for drinks and they were all doing all this stuff. I just went straight back to my room. And I would just study, and then all I did was just apply everything that they told me how to do in this training. And I ended up making a couple really good connections of guys in the group. And they actually gave me my first 2 clients. Like, 2 guys were like, "Hey, I don't want this client anymore. If you want it, I'll make an intro and you can run some ads for them." It's just some simple lead generation stuff at the time. So that's how I got started. And then I got really good results for them. Next thing you know, I have 10, 15 clients and, making about 20 grand a month. And I was freaking out. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Can't believe this is happening. I can't believe I'm making $20,000 a month, right? I was like, this is crazy. Going from making $4,000 or $5,000 a month as a policeman to that. Make a long story short, about 6 months, 8 months later, things kept growing at the agency. So I walked in and resigned from the police department. So, and haven't looked back since.
There you go. From handcuffs to Facebook. There we go. Over to you, Nicole.
Yeah. So it's been a rough couple of weeks, Jason, as you know.
I hear you.
In social media.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, and obviously you're on the ground and you're running a lot of different kinds of ads. Do you see, if you were thinking about the audience of this podcast, obviously is membership based people.
Yep.
do you see, in light of the data that you're seeing in the last few weeks and kind of where things are going, do you see yourself, changing ad running strategies, changing platforms, things like that for, let's say, a membership-based website that wanted to grow in 2025?
Yeah,
so, like, what kinds of things are you seeing that seem to be working well? Because you're on the ground running, it sounds like,
yeah,
a lot of ads right now, which
yeah,
is great because you're getting a lot of data.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, the whole TikTok thing shocked us, right? It like literally running ads, and we run a lot of ads on TikTok as well. And then, it got taken down. And, I was really concerned too, because I have friends and colleagues that have TikTok only agencies, right? Like all they do is TikTok ads. So it scared us a bit there. Luckily that's back up and running again. But, I've always said, well, not always, probably the last 5 years, I've said that when you're running ads, the tactics never kind of change. It's the implementation that changes, right? So the normal tactics of segmenting out audiences, what we do at our agencies, we run top, middle, and bottom of funnel ads. So we do a full funnel strategy, right? And we create copy and images and assets for each stage of the funnel. What I'm seeing is the AI is really becoming an issue with Facebook ads, for example, because they're implementing all these cool AI features and people are using them and their ads look like crap because they haven't figured it out yet. So I would say one thing top of mind for us as an agency is not using all the AI stuff just yet on Facebook, because it's really making your ads look completely off of brand. They're not good. The text option that they have, like you can let Facebook formulate AI sentences and text for you for ad copy, and that's horrible right now. So I would say probably more than anything, if you're running your own ads, especially, do not check that box that says let Facebook control everything inside of your ads and what you're doing, because it's becoming a big issue right now. So
Yeah, I could see it probably needs more time to kind of fully bake out.
yeah, for
Such a new
sure.
feature.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it sounds like you mainly run sort of Facebook and Instagram, but you mentioned other platforms too. Do you see that people are having an interest in other platforms in light of kind of what's going on at Meta right now? And if so, how would you use like a Pinterest or a Reddit or maybe another kind of social media ads platform to run ads for specifically a membership-based website?
Yeah, I mean, Pinterest is actually a great platform to run a membership-based ads on, because, you've got people looking for all kinds of different things. We're actually running a ton of ads on Pinterest as well. And Pinterest is kind of like the silent, killer right now. I mean, it is really good right now. There's not a ton of advertisers on it. The ads actually look really cool. Their targeting is really good. You can actually target based off of keywords. So, if you have a membership-based, offer that you're trying to get out to people, like, what is your avatar doing? What kind of things are they doing? What are they looking for? And Pinterest really has a cool setup as far as audience targeting goes, and you can target tons of different keywords and interests and stuff on Pinterest. So Pinterest is actually a really good place for this type of offer for membership base, because again, you're going to Pinterest to look for ideas on things. And I mean, it could be as simple as looking for ideas for your house or whatever it is. I mean, we're running ads for truck bumper companies on Pinterest, and they're killing it. Tool belt companies for blue collar workers, all the way to pet supplies and membership based stuff as well. So Pinterest is actually growing quite a bit and becoming a really cool platform to diversify your ad spend, because you shouldn't only be on Meta, you shouldn't only be on TikTok. You really need a diverse ad spend to be able to run people through your funnel, brand awareness, all that stuff. So I think Pinterest is great. TikTok is good. It really just depends on the age of your audience. There's not a ton of older-ish people on there. Like, I don't even have TikTok on my phone. So 48 plus are probably not on there. But yeah, I mean, Meta is our bread and butter. Pinterest is really growing and scaling at the agency. TikTok we've been doing for a long time as well. But I think TikTok has its own niche people. Pinterest has a broader, you can reach a broader person or a broader avatar on Pinterest, kind of like you can on Facebook. So,
yeah. Hey, Jonathan, I see there was a comment that came in. Do you want to bring that into the discussion, or?
I just show them to put you off, Nico, and the and the guest, because they kind of read them without, and I expect them to be able to answer a question and read it. But sure, there we go, Nico.
Yeah, no, and so this person's commented that the paid ads and the traffic didn't seem to match in Google Analytics, and they think that maybe the platform was exaggerating the volume of ad clicks that were happening. Yeah. Have you run into this problem? And if so, how would you solve it?
Never do that, Nico.
What?
Yeah. So we constantly run into this issue. You know, you got to remember, if you're tracking, let's say, Facebook or Pinterest ads with Google Analytics, Google Analytics is a Google product, right? And so if you're not running Google ads, what's going to happen is Google's not going to be as accurate as in platform for like Pinterest and Facebook. And as far as clicks go, clicks are actually usually pretty accurate. What's not accurate is purchase conversion value is usually not accurate in Google Analytics, because you have to understand, and what a lot of people don't understand, and this is a great question, by the way, is you kind of have to look at Google Analytics or GA as a holistic view and not like the source of truth of where you're getting your numbers from, because there's a customer journey that's involved in every single ad platform, right? They're going to see a Facebook ad today. If you're running Google ads, they may see one of your Google ads tomorrow. So how does Google Analytics break that up and show a customer journey? Well, they really can't, right? Because Google Analytics is a click-based analytics platform. So it's gonna really report off of last click and click-based, where Facebook is taking a view-through attribution, looking at it and going, okay, over the period of 30 days, this customer, this person saw an ad, then they went to your website, then they went back, then they Googled you, and then maybe purchased off of a Google search, right? So Facebook is looking at that a little bit in a longer journey, where Google Analytics is really only reporting on like a last click attribution. So that's why it's not accurate most of the time.
Nice.
Yeah. You wanted me to take over, Nico?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you do have to say over to you.
Oh, yes.
Jonathan. All
right. Over to you, Jonathan.
There we go. I think it's a good spot for us to go for our break, and then we got a number of other questions to ask Jason. Obviously, he's an expert in this, and he deals with my English humor in the way it should be treated, with the contempt that it should be. No, he seems a very warm guy. We will be back in a few moments, folks.
Tired of hosting providers that can't handle high traffic loads? Conversio is here to help. Our platform can handle any amount of traffic, all without slowing down or crashing. With immediate Slack support, performance optimization, and a team that thrives on resolving technical challenges, your e-commerce business is in safe hands. Learn more about Conversio at conversio.com.
This podcast episode is brought to you by Lifter LMS, the leading learning management system solution for WordPress. If you or your client are creating any kind of online course, training-based membership website, or any type of e-learning project, Lifter LMS is the most secure, stable, well-supported solution on the market. Go to lifterlms.com and save 20% at checkout with coupon code podcast20. That's podcast20. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Coming back, we've had a feast of knowledge from Jason Smith, the founder of Spotlight Social Media Advertising. We've got some other great questions Nicole seems to be up for it. We got the tools of interrogation on the table. But before we go further into this great discussion, I've got a great free resource for you trying to build a membership website at the beginning of 2025, and that's the Membership Machine Show Facebook group. It's totally free. It's a mixture of WordPress professionals and people like you trying to build their first membership community-focused website. We love you to go over and join it. I try and post some unique content every day on it. I failed this week because I've been dealing with clients, but I normally do. We love you to go over there. That's the Membership Machine Facebook group. So on we go. So Jason, what's like one or two misconceptions that you regularly get when you have clients approach you and you're seeing if you're a good fit with them? What, like I say, what's one or two misconceptions that a lot of people have when they are thinking of using Facebook or Pinterest with paid advertising, or just getting a hiring you for consultancy?
Yeah, I would say couple of the biggest misconceptions. One is they think that Facebook ads is just going to make them a ton of money right off the bat, right? Like they think, oh, I'm going to put an ad up.
If only it was that easy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, I'm going to spend, well, how much do you want to spend? Oh, I only want to spend $500 this month. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not really going to get much, you know? So that's one big misconception. The other big misconception is I get a lot of people saying that no one's reading ad copy anymore, and that's definitely not true. You know, Facebook actually has a software that can read your eyeballs, so it knows kind of where you're going, and so what it'll do is it'll tailor the ad experience to you and what you normally do. So if you read headlines first, boom, it shows you the headline, kind of highlights that right away. But I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. And along with that is, oh, well, I don't need good ad copy. I can just, you know, kind of wing something and I'm still going to make a ton of money, right, from Facebook. That's another big one. Another big one as well is just leaving it broad and letting Facebook, because the Facebook will tell you leave your targeting open and let Facebook deal with it. But you know, I've found that doesn't work as well as actually knowing your avatar and knowing who to target and why to target them. So, and I see Nicole smiling, so she knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Facebook wants me to broadly target people and spend more money.
Well, of course.
Less effectively, so that I run more ads. It's a shocker, really.
Right.
Who would have thought that? Mark needs more money for the next luxury watch, doesn't he?
Exactly. Or how about the Ray-Bans that cost $10,000? That's what he needs, you know. So
some of our audience thinks I'm the version of Ricky Gervais. There we go. I think that's a compliment, actually.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Nico.
Oh yeah. So I think this is a kind of a interesting idea. So it sounds like you just run ads, so you don't do the kind of organic content as part, like you don't post to how do you work with, you know, whether it's the company that does the organic posts or whether it's, you know, another agency that's doing it? How do you create ads that complement what they're posting organically on their pages? And or do you even do that at all? And is the idea to be more kind of disruptive, for lack of a better word?
No, yeah. So we definitely, if a client of ours has a current organic agency or they're doing organic in-house, let's say, we work with them 100%. What we normally do is we'll create. So at our agency, we do all the ad copy, create all the assets. So we do image creation, video editing. We can also shoot video, all that good stuff. And so we normally take a look at what they have on the organic side and see if we can repurpose some of that on the paid side. But what I found is usually taking organic posts and, like, let's say an image or ad copy from organic, a lot of times doesn't work super well on the paid side. However, usually when we take it on the paid side and give it to organic, it usually works pretty well on the organic side as well, because we really try to write our ad copy as a story using pain points and different things. It's not just, hey, come buy from us, right? So yeah, I mean, we work with them at a very high level, share all of our assets with the organic side of the brand. Yeah, we just don't do organic because we're really, really good at paid. And honestly, in my opinion, organic's a bit dead lately. In the last couple of years, organic isn't as good. So we kind of moved. We actually did organic for a few years, but we got so inundated with paid that we just kind of put organic on the back burner. But I think it still works to a certain extent, right? I mean, organic feeds paid and paid feeds organic. So it definitely works, and it's definitely needed for sure.
And now, are you finding, like, I feel like video was like a really like nice kind of bit of creative to run ads to. Are you still seeing like video performing better than static images, or is it kind of client dependent, kind of what you're seeing out there?
Yeah, great question. Totally client dependent in my mind. So the truck bumper company that I mentioned, they don't even run video. It's all images, and they 10x their ads, right? So which is pretty interesting because you just show the truck bumper on the truck and, looks cool. But then we have like supplement companies need videos because like, why is turmeric good for you, or why is fish oil good for you? And a lot of times we have, for our supplement companies we run ads for, we have like doctors explaining why a certain supplement could work good. So we've got a mixture of images and videos for like supplement companies. And I would say if your offer is over $500 and you want somebody to pay over $500 for something from an ad, then you need some type of video explaining why they should be purchasing. Then again, we also run ads for a company that makes like this machine that you put under your bed and it helps you sleep really good. They start at $2,000 and they hardly run any video, and images do the trick for them, right? So to answer your question, a little bit of both. Really depends on the brand. It depends on the avatar. It depends on how much your offer is. So there's a wide variety of variations that go into that for sure.
And I have one more question before I pass it off to Jonathan, which is that if somebody is looking, I think the average person may be listening to this podcast, maybe they're running some ads, but maybe they're not at all, but there's some component of why that may or may not be happening. So, I mean, obviously they could fly to Austin and spend, the money, right? But if you were going to like send someone on a nice track to sort of like get started on ads, how would you advise them to do that in a way that's like, as I guess, moderately effective and economical? Obviously, asterisk, can't guarantee results.
Yeah. I would say you have to know who you're targeting inside and out before you put up your ads, right? Like work backwards instead of, hey, I'm going to write some ad copy and do that. I would say knowing who you're targeting, kind of what their language is, how you're going to craft some copy. That's probably where I would start. And then at first, do what I just told you not to do and just keep it kind of broad, because that's easier for the Facebook amateur, the Facebook 101 person who doesn't know a ton about Facebook ads. And then don't expect to, get rich your first 30 days off ads, right? It's a process. It's hard. It's not easy. That's why agencies like us exist, because brands come to us when they reach a certain point where they're either losing money or they just can't make it work like it was before. So that's probably where I start. Also, I would say a Facebook course could also help as well, like buying a Facebook course. We have a Facebook course. It's not launched yet, but finding a good course can really help, your ad experience and give you a little bit better knowledge of what you're doing. $100 course is probably not going to do it. Just FYI, usually in this industry, Nicole, you get what you pay for. So if you're buying $100 course, it's probably not going to be good for you. But that's where I'd probably start, is getting your avatar details figured out. A lot of people don't put a lot of weight on that. We've even created avatars for clients that come to us and don't have that information. I'm like, nope, we've got to hone that in and make sure we know who we're targeting first and then go from there.
Nice. Jonathan, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Nicole. Very professional. So it's funny that you mentioned your course, Jason. So if you were launching a course, which you are, what has obviously you've been thinking about, you want it to be a success, because building a course isn't a small endeavor.
Yeah.
So you must have been thinking about what your marketing strategy is going to be. Maybe you can give the audience an outline of what your thought process were and what strategy, what is your kind of pre-launch, launch, 3 months in, 6 months in strategy to get students in this course, Jason?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, really, I'm probably not going to run any ads for the course. I'm going to leave it more word of mouth, because I've always been a proponent that courses usually don't teach you everything you need to know. But what we've tried to do with our course is make it to where we kind of dumb it down for people, and we have videos explaining everything. It's not just, hey, do this, do that. It's actual videos in the platform explaining what you need to do and what you should and shouldn't be doing. However, a Facebook course is hard because, as Nicole, as you probably know, it changes like monthly, right? So it's going to be tough to keep up with all the updates and everything going on. And luckily, we're at the highest level of partnership with Facebook, so we have a dedicated partner manager that we work with, and she kind of gives us all the latest and greatest. But really, for me, it's just going to be, if you want to check out our course, here's our information. I'm not going to push it super hard, and I'm actually not going to do a full launch and all that stuff on our course. Again, it's going to be more of word of mouth. It's going to be about $2,000. Our course is it's going to be quite expensive, but it's got a lot of value. It's got over 150 videos in there and steps you through avatar information, from setting up the ads, setting up audiences, why you should be doing what you're doing, copywriting, image creation. It goes through everything, and resources for all that stuff. So, Jonathan, sorry to not answer your question fully, but for me, it's going to be more of, like I said, word of mouth. Hey, if you want a course.
So is this your kind of first course at this level? Mm-hmm. And is it a kind of unofficial kind of soft launch to see the kind of response you're going to get with it?
Yeah, kind of. Again, I'm not going to make a huge push on making money off this course. For me, I really love teaching and informing people about how Facebook ads can work. And that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it as like a money-making machine for our agency. I'm looking at it more of just helping, putting it out there, and really helping people.
So we got a good question here. Do you find that when people invest in paid ads, they tend to take their foot off the gas when it comes to SEO? And should they?
Yeah, they definitely do. And you should not take your foot off of the SEO side of things, because, most of us know what SEO is and does. So paid ads feeds SEO, and SEO feeds paid ads, right? I mean, if they're searching for something, you want to be up at the top. So you want to make sure that your SEO is dialed in and good. So you should definitely not take your foot off the gas on SEO for sure when you're running paid ads.
Right. Over to you, Nicole.
Yeah, so it sounds like too that having this course is sort of a nice way if you have a client approaches you and they're not maybe a good fit, or they don't have the budget to like run the ads, that this kind of gives them a way to DIY. Is that part of why you developed it too?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Because a lot of clients either can't afford us, or let's say I really love the brand and I'm like, man, I really wish we could work together. Why don't you go through my course first? Take a stab at ads and doing different things in the ads world. And then once you get to a certain point, you can come back to us and maybe we can work together. But yeah, that's exactly right. And people I run into, I mean, you'd be surprised. We have a podcast as well. And it's called The Truth About Social Ads. And I basically just go over ad stuff, and people book calls from the podcast or have heard about us or whatever. I direct them to the course if they can't afford us, or if they need to maybe train somebody at their company to run an in-house person, right? If they want to do ads in-house, they can purchase our course and do it that way too. So
nice. And I know at the beginning we expressed some hesitancy about using Meta's built-in AI tools to let it just
Yeah.
do it themselves. But do you use AI tools in your agency as part of like, making content or things like that? And if so, do you have some tools that you think that maybe people haven't really heard of, or maybe some use cases for these tools that people haven't thought of that would apply to our membership-based audience?
Yeah, so we use ChatGPT a lot for ad copy. We don't let it write the ad copy completely. What we usually do is we'll plug in the avatar details in ChatGPT, and it spits out a lot of great ideas that we can use for hooks and headlines and different things. But honestly, at least on the ad side, there isn't a ton of really cool tools that you can use. I've tested a lot of tools in the past, but what I found is being in your ad account, looking at your ads every single day is the best way, and not letting it automate, right? You catch things, your ads fall off a cliff sometimes. Sometimes your ad account will get shut down or restricted or whatever. So there's not a lot of tools that have come out for optimization and looking at your ads and being aware of what's going on and letting AI opt for you. So mainly we use it for ad copy, but we still write our ad copy manually. Like our director of creative writes all the ad copy manually, but he is using a little bit of ChatGPT to do that. But other than that, we don't use a ton of AI, actually. It's kind of interesting.
I can understand that. It's kind of difficult to sort of copyright things that are AI built. And also when you know your customer really well, it's hard to pretend you don't,
Exactly. And like I said, I mean, even on the optimization, like daily optimization of your ads that are currently running, I mean, there were tools that were launched a few years ago. I didn't like any of them. A person being in there manually doing it every single day is what you need, not AI. And Facebook does have some tools, but they don't work. So,
right.
Don't use
All right.
them.
So I have a scenario for you so let's pretend that I have a membership community and I've grown it to a certain point and it's plateaued. Like I'm not getting any new members. People are staying, but it's kind of plateaued. If you were going to use ads to get people beyond that plateau, what's either a concept or something that you've seen, and maybe you've had, obviously, I know that you also work with like B2C brands and things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe who have reached a plateau. Like what are some things that people could try if they feel like their current marketing isn't working and they're looking to explore ads?
Well, I mean, the easiest thing to do is to offer something like a flash sale or a discount, or hey, I'm doing this one-time thing with a guest. That tends to work sometimes. Trying to get a guest who either the community knows or somebody knows. A guest option is really good. We've seen that work really well. And even employing some influencers actually work really good, where you can get them to, hey, come check this out, or we're having this, this membership. And if you're really trying to grow your audience, I mean, honestly, if you're not running ads and you want to take a stab at ads to grow your audience, it'll probably grow, right? Running ads, for sure. And I would say the thing about running ads is, if your offer is, let's say, $500 and you only want to spend $100 on ads, that's not going to work, right? What you need to do is spend at least double what your offer is to bring people in, and use that, use ads as a tool to just reach people. Because if you've not run ads before, you're going to reach people that you never thought possible, right? They're going to see your ads. And so your membership community will grow right away if you haven't used ads before. If you're running ads and they're not working, man, that's like a whole different, you could go down a rabbit hole with that, why things aren't working and stuff. So, but just pay attention to your offer. Maybe even what I like to tell brands to do is put your offer out to your current warm audience, people who's engaged with you. If you have a good response there, most likely putting it out to someone who doesn't know you, it'll probably work. So that'd be my advice there.
Right. And would you like actively exclude, like if you had like a list of people in your membership platform, you would exclude that audience probably,
yes.
right?
Yes, yeah. For sure. Yeah. Exclude Keep it as cold as you possibly can up at the top. So yeah, you're excluding purchasers, members, any customer lists or anything like that you want to exclude from your audience. You also want to exclude anybody who interacted with your Facebook or Instagram page or any of your pages. Could be your pin page on Pinterest, any of that, because yeah, you want to keep it as cold as possible. The only way you're going to grow is if new people see your stuff and not current people.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that ads can be inclusive of people, but you can also use them to exclude people too. Like not in
Absolutely.
not in a gross way, but in a sort of making your ads more effective way.
Yeah, exactly. Again, you want new members, you have to keep that ad, like I said, or that audience as cold as possible. And, I think it's pretty common sense, right? Keeping it as cold as possible means that you don't want people that you already have. Now, granted, Facebook only goes back 180 days on exclusions on these audiences. So if someone interacted with you, it's been 5 months, they may see your ad again, but in my opinion, they're completely cold again. They haven't interacted with you. So they're probably going to see you and maybe recognize you, but they're not going to remember you completely. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't remember what ad I saw 3 months ago, on
Right.
Facebook. Shoot, I don't even remember a week ago. Right.
But you could also, if you had their email address, which you probably do if they signed up for your membership, you could
Correct.
exclude an email list, right?
Yeah, download that
Yeah.
email list upload it to Facebook and make sure in every single one of your top of funnel audiences for cold people, that email list of current members are excluded in there. I mean, unless, again, maybe they haven't done anything in the group for, let's say, a year, maybe you want to target them again at top of funnel. It really just depends on how you want to work things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jonathan, you got some
Yeah, you mentioned Pinterest a few times. So what kind of results generally you've been getting with it? Is it the cost of conversion, is it cheaper than Facebook? Is it at the same? It's very difficult to quantify this when you're dealing with a broad spectrum of different industries and clients. So I'm not asking for percentage terms, but just your general feeling around this. Is the conversion rate similar to Facebook? And what are the costs compared to Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, so I would say there's not a ton of advertisers on Pinterest right now. So cost to reach somebody, like an impression and just a reach, right, is cheaper on Pinterest. Cost and conversion, that's totally variable depending on what you're selling and what you're doing. But I would say we're getting better results on Pinterest than we are on Facebook. Put it to you that way, right? Costs are cheaper. CPMs, which are basically the cost to reach 1,000 people, that is cheaper as well on Pinterest because, again, it's not as crowded as Facebook. I mean, everybody knows what Facebook ads is. Not a ton of people are running ads or know what or that you can even run ads on Pinterest right now. So it's a great place to be right now. I would say in the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to get really crowded. So if you can get on Pinterest now because it is cheaper.
And we've had a couple of questions. I won't flash them up, but around retargeting. What's your views around retargeting? Because obviously, a lot of the times when I've gone to a website and I go to Facebook, boom, there's an advert for the thing that I've been looking at. So what do you think people need to know and understand about retargeting?
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about top of funnel, which is cold audiences, and I'm glad you brought this up because retargeting is a very, very important, ecosystem that you should be applying in your ads. And at the top of the show, I said that we kind of do full funnel ads. So middle of funnel and bottom of funnel are super important. These are retargeting. Middle of funnel is going to be anybody who interacted with your Facebook or Instagram page, right? So they could have liked a post, they could have commented, they could have shared it. And it could be Facebook, Instagram. You want to retarget those people. And then you also want to retarget people who have gone to your homepage and didn't do anything else. They just landed on the homepage, didn't advance anywhere else, didn't look at a product, didn't look at your offer and what you're selling. And then, so retarget those people. And it's really easy to build those audiences in Facebook. You just click on the audience tab, go to Instagram, and then you can build an audience based off of how they engaged and what they did. Normally we do 180 days on that audience just to kind of make that audience a little bit bigger. And then bottom of funnel is going to be anybody who viewed, if you're an e-commerce store, let's say a product or a membership site, if they actually went to your offer and they didn't purchase or didn't go anywhere else. And then if they've added to cart or add payment info and didn't purchase, you want to retarget those people as well. Now, the only caveat I'll say to the two different retargeting audiences is you have to speak to them where they're at, right? You're not going to talk to someone who liked a post or commented on a post or shared a post the same as you would with somebody who added to cart that didn't purchase, right? So usually on the bottom of funnel, the more higher intent, you want to say, hey, here's a 10% discount, like come back today, or come back today and, you know, we promise you'll love it, right? Or give them a call to action, come back today, like, and purchase now. You know, on middle of funnel, it's a little more broad because, you know, they kind of know you, they've interacted with you a bit, but they don't know you super well like a person who viewed your product or added to cart and didn't purchase. So those are two very important categories to be retargeting. And if your audience isn't big enough, then just go back as many days as you possibly can. But you need to be running some traffic to be able to retarget those folks for sure.
What about lookalike audiences when you actually upload a list to Facebook and you say, what's been your general experience about the effectiveness of lookalike?
Yeah, so lookalikes look great, work great if they're high intent, right? So, and what I mean by that is you don't want to do a lookalike based off of video views, for example, because there's a lot of people who watch videos who have no intention of purchasing your stuff, right? So what we normally do is we do lookalikes based off of a customer list, so current customers, or a purchase. So if you have a purchase event firing in your pixel, you can take that event and actually build a lookalike audience based off of the purchase event, and that's really high intent lookalikes. And we usually only use those two lookalikes, very high intent, to make sure that Facebook is getting the signal from that seed audience and going out looking for the correct person the first time. Again, a lot of people I see doing lookalikes off of add to carts. Well, I mean, funny story, my daughter came to me and said, Dad, I can only add 50 things to my cart in Amazon. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like, what? Well, I want to get all these things, right? But, you know, and I'm like, delete all that stuff. So, but there are people who like professional add to cart people. I'm not even joking. They add to cart, they let it sit there. They have no intention of purchasing, but they want to see how much shipping is, or they want to see this. So I suggest not doing a lookalike based off of add to carts, customer lists, and purchase event. Those are the two that we use most often and that we've seen the best results with.
That's fantastic. And what you were saying about AI, because I've got a little bit of dyslexia, so, and also, I mean, organic SEO is one of the main drivers to my boutique hosting company. Mm-hmm. And another product I've got. But I think in general, I think in the world of online influence and that, it's become very dominant because it's effective. It's effective affiliate marketing and building blogs, and they've been hit quite hard. Mm-hmm. But in general, I've been a bit disappointed, even though I utilize a lot of AI tools. But the one area where I think it might offer some promise to an agency like you is around, it hasn't occurred yet, but you see the possibilities, and that's around video production. Because producing really a good video for a client is an expensive process.
Yes, it can be.
There are short ways of reducing the cost, but I mean something that's really quality, that's bespoke. It's quite an expensive process. I see the possibility of using AI tools and that to reduce the cost, so something that really can convert will be available to a more broader audience. What's your thoughts about that, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that there is quite a few great AI tools for video. you can drop a raw video in a software and it'll actually produce some pretty decent.
Decent, that's the thing, isn't it? You can
Yeah.
see it, but it's not quite there, is it?
Yeah. Now, I will say there are a lot more companies coming out now where you can actually like hire an influencer, for example, or just not even an influencer. You can hire somebody to do like a UGC style video, pay them like $100, and they're literally at home walking through their house going, hey, yeah, this, supplement works awesome. So there's a lot of those popping up now, and we've actually utilized quite a bit of that. We've sent clients to these different companies to use a lot of UGC style videos, and they actually come out really good. Like, these creators are pretty good. Like, they definitely know what they're doing. You give them like, hey, this is what I want you to talk about, and they just kind of do it in their own words. And they're actually, people are making a pretty good living on that right now. It's pretty crazy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Over to you, Nico, for the last question.
Yeah. So I thought this was interesting. So we're talking about questions, and basically, if you could, I like this question from Jonathan. If you could travel back in time to the beginning of your career, what advice would you give somebody who, and it could be somebody who's running a membership website and wants to run ads, or somebody who wants to start their own agency? What would you have done different? What advice would you give? Or what advice would you give? I guess we can't do anything different, right? But like, what advice?
Yeah, I would probably say, if I'm talking about myself, for example, starting earlier, that would have been my advice. Because I think about, if I would have started the agency in my early 20s and not waited till I was 30 something to, or almost 40 to start the agency, and I had all those extra years, gosh, I would have been, in a much better place, So I would say probably starting earlier, and having a passion and love what you're doing. That's a big deal for me. So that's my two things that I would have told myself at the beginning.
Nice. Well, remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today, right?
Exactly. Yes. It's never too late, but yeah.
Yeah, I got a quick follow-through question from that. You're almost 15 years in the police service.
Yeah.
What were the couple of things you really learned from your experience there?
Oh gosh, patience, or cussing them out to your face. You can't just sock them. You gotta have some patience. I think I definitely learned patience, and I also learned, one of the biggest things I learned was just to deal with a huge, diverse culture, and a diverse, kind of person. At the police department in Los Angeles, you have everything under the sun there. So I think that it taught me that. It also taught me how to get along with people as well, because you're working with, LAPD's 10,000 officers, and you have a partner, you're working with different people. So patience and just how to work with somebody, how to work with the team. It also taught me how to be a leader as well, that I started the agency, and how to appreciate things as well, because there were several times at the police department where I didn't think I was coming home, and it makes you appreciate things a lot more. So,
yeah, based, I think that was a fabulous answer. I just want to put this to you. That my uncle, who had almost 30 years as a police officer, he had a great skill, and I just wondered if you agree with this. It's a skill in de-escalating a situation. It's really easy to escalate a situation, and our culture, American culture, not quite to such a degree English culture, but I've noticed in the media in America, it's all about escalation, and that gets some kind of result where people that are in policing or the armed services, it's the skill of de-escalating that they concentrate, unless they're the wrong type. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. It goes back to what I said about patience, right? When someone's yelling at you and cussing you out or going nuts, you can't do the same thing. You have to de-escalate the situation. And yes, that's a big one in the police world. Got to be good at that. If not, oh man, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So
You might be in the wrong business.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Jason, it's been a pleasure talking to you. So how can people, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and the agency and some of your ideas, Jason?
Yeah, so you could go to our website, spotlightsocialadvertising.com, book a call, reach out to me there, and or you can just email me, jason@spotlightsocialllc.com, and get a hold of us.
That's
So.
fine. And Nicole, what's the best way for people to find out more about you, Nicole?
Well, my website is breakingeveninc.com, and I am on the social media platforms, but you can catch me more likely on Blue Sky or YouTube.
That's fantastic. We're going to either have hopefully have some great guests coming up, or we're going to have some great topics, me and Nico, and the cats, of course. I've always got to mention Nicole's cats. Where are they, Nico? If we get animals on the show, our ratings will just accelerate. I can make a fortune just doing cat videos if I wanted to.
I'll see if I can get them for next time.
That's all I watch, folks. We will be back next week, folks. Bye.